Okay, we'll look through this clip of the press conference relating to the ACRA NRIC disclosure issue. So first off, we have Mrs. Josephine Teo introducing certain key points to the panel of journalists and interested observers. Let's hear what she has to say.
Good afternoon. I just want to make sure that you can hear me and this is not getting in the way.
Okay, right off the bat, you can look at her demeanor. So 3 things we always look at for first timers: facial expressions, upper body movement, hand gesture. So these 3 things. Usually experts will look at the feet movements as well, but in this case, because it's covered, you just focus on your facial expressions, the upper body movement, and the hand gestures. Now, of course, we will take a look a little bit about the transferring of information between the panelists as well, and you take a look at the tone, volume, pitch, and the pacing of their voices as well. So let's take a look.
Good afternoon. I just want to make sure that you can hear me and
Okay, and notice right off the bat there's like open palm gesture. I've mentioned this many times in my other videos as well. Open palm gestures relates to being more open and sincere, like I've got nothing to hide. Open palm gestures are the best gestures to use for anyone to appear more friendly, approachable, sincere, welcoming, honest. There this goes.
good afternoon. I just want to make sure that you can hear me and this is not getting in the way. Okay. Well, thank you to members of the media for being here. I would firstly like to acknowledge the concerns of the public, which we...
So moving away from body language, I'd just like to mention that she's speaking without looking at any kind of script, so off the cuff and just from the heart, which is a good way to come off as more sincere rather than if you are reading through a script but yet you are smooth. So it's better to come across as sincere without any kind of script but still making mistakes or putting in fillers, compared to someone who doesn't put in any fillers and is smooth and calm but yet following a script. So it's always good to not follow a script and speak from the heart. It's the best way to build a rapport. Why? Come across as more natural rather than a robot. When you speak, when you read through a script, come across as more robotic.
I'd like to acknowledge the concerns of the public, which we take very seriously. We are very sorry to have caused them much anxiety. We had wanted to give them better protection, and this required a change in our policy involving the use of NRIC numbers because the current situation leaves us vulnerable. Let me explain.
So the tone, volume, pitch, and pacing of voice, smooth, calm, collected, and eye contact with the panelists, journalists, sorry, not they are the panelists, but the journalists and everyone who's attended this press conference. So the eyes pacing around the room, trying to make sure you get eye contact with everyone, building a rapport with everybody else. So it's a good way to do it. You don't just fixate your eyes on one particular person. You do it from the start, just to begin the session. However, as you go along, you want to make sure that you include everyone. Make sure that everyone feels like they're included by spreading your eye contact, moving your eyes around after every few seconds, 2 to 3 seconds. Let's just carry on. Sorry, just one more thing. You notice that she might come across as serious with the serious points, but there are points during the presentation where there's like smile. So it's always good, even though it might be a very serious topic, there's nothing stopping you from smiling a little bit in between here and there to come across as a bit more approachable, especially if you have a naturally unapproachable kind of face. So people what do I mean by naturally unapproachable? Maybe you don't smile too often. You have a maybe frowny lip, frowny mouth. Your eyebrows might be a bit straight. Naturally, you maybe have that frowny look, grimacing kind of look. So that makes you come across as unfriendly. But Mrs. Chu doesn't have that unfriendly look. In fact, she has a friendlier kind of facial features, very evenly distributed, like symmetrical. That's the word, and smiles occasionally. So it's good. Even if it's a serious topic, you can always put in a smile, maybe 2-3 seconds after at the end of what you're saying to come across as likable, approachable.
The current situation leaves us vulnerable. Let me explain why. In our daily interactions, we are identified by our names. However, our names may not be unique. So for example, when organizations have to deal with many people, say a hospital with several patients named Tanakau.
So that you notice a hand gestures previously started off with open palm and then now is clasped together. Clasping hands is a sign of showing others respect. It also can be a sign of authority, showing you have a sign of authority. The strongest kind of hand gesture to show authority is the steeple position, that means fingertip to fingertip. But she did not do that steeple position, and neither did any of the other panelists, which you will observe in a while.
They can be confused,
gesture.
and they each need a unique identifier, which is their NRIC number. So when the hospital needs to perform an operation or dispense medication, the doctor or nurse must make sure it is the right Tanakau, and they will ask.
Okay, we just forward it to Indranee. You will not go through the
Minister Josephine Teo spoke about the government's position on NRIC numbers, while CE Accra women.
Okay, you notice right from the start, the ministers Indranee Rajah's demeanor, tone of voice, eye contact, gestures are slightly different. In terms of the tone, volume, pitch, a bit similar to Mrs. Josephine Teo's in the fact that is cool, calm, and collected. But can you tell the difference with regards to the facial expressions? Let's have a look and see if you can spot something different.
Accra women had explained how the mistake came about. I want to add 2 key points. 1, it is important for Accra to provide public access to information on individuals associated with businesses.
The not so good thing about the way she presents is looking down occasionally and then looking up. So it's not as powerful as what Mrs. Josephine Teo did, which is all the while having your eye contact with the journalists, reporters, and those who are present for the press conference. You look down once in a while, whether it's you having point form or just looking at your cue card, you break eye contact with your audience for a while. And when you break eye contact, there's a little bit less rapport as compared to someone who has a constant eye contact. So it's not very, very effective if you are to refer to something and then say it out loud. It's best to just have a constant speak from the heart. If you want to really truly build rapport and come across as a very effective, approachable, friendly, and sincere person, to just speak from the heart, which is good. It doesn't matter if you make mistakes and stumble or have fillers. It's always good to speak without any kind of notes from the heart compared to really, really very smooth but following a script. And also with regards to facial expression, a bit more downcast, like I'm not sure if this is a regular style of speaking, but it comes across as less approachable as Mrs. Josephine Teo, because you don't see the smile, you don't see slight grimace downward, the eyes, slight creases that you notice here. You look very closely, she has like a long bang on the left side, but you notice right at the center, if she speaks, if you can see here quite clearly, there's a little bit of a crease there that shows that a bit uncomfortable with or a bit agitated with what she's saying, right? Tension, there's tension there.
Access to information on individuals associated with businesses. And 2, the plans going forward. The search function.
Also, when she's speaking, the difference is she doesn't have that open palm gesture towards the audience. It's the most powerful. I cannot emphasize it enough. Open palm gestures are the most powerful gestures that you can use when you want to build a rapport with someone. So you have this is a disadvantage, another disadvantage of reading through or following a script, because you gotta have to flip through or look at your cue card. So your hands are actually tied up there rather than using it as a gesture or to build rapport or to use it more effectively. So let's just carry on.
2, the plans going forward. The search function on the BizFile portal covers publicly available information about business entities and their associated individuals to facilitate and support legitimate business needs such as due diligence checks. For instance, when representing a client, lawyers or accountants may need to verify their clients' roles in various business entities, their shareholding, and the statuses of the companies that they are involved.
So she does do maintain eye contact once every 5 to 10 seconds. After looking through the script, moves her head up and then have the eye contact. So that's good, but still not as effective as if you were to have a constant eye contact throughout the 5 minutes or 10 minutes or however long that you're presenting. Let's just move forward.
And exercise duty of care in their handling of NRIC numbers. For example, the numbers should not be published unless there are good reasons to do so. Search, because the level 2 search is where you get full information. So that's the current position.
Here she did something quite good where she's answering a question or explaining something and he's using the hand gesture. So this is one that she's starting to speak off the cuff, because I think it's answering of questions. So you have that heart gesture. Remember, when you are speaking to somebody, when you have your hands outwards, if you have it above or beyond your shoulder width, it's more like an excited gesture. This excitement can show enthusiasm, but at the same time, if you're not careful, it can come across as nervousness. Oh, you're too nervous. If the person doesn't know your background, that you're always been that way, or they don't know how to observe the whole package, like they see your hands going outwards, but then they don't see your eyes, like, oh, you're calm and your feet is placed down and you're not tapping your feet. That means you're actually calm, but your hand gestures show that you're not calm. So if you follow the majority of your gestures to come up with a better decode. So in this case, she kept it within your shoulder width. So that's good. You keep it from the chin all the way to your belly button. This is the heart zone where you want to come across as sincere and approachable and clear and ready from the heart, really. So this is a good way to come across as effective answering of questions. So from your heart all the way your torso, so you don't go beyond your shoulder, don't have gestures beyond your shoulders when you're answering questions, unless you want to emphasize one huge point. In this case, explaining theory and also practical information. So you give up with palm. It's not an open palm towards it, but yet it is gestures to pinpoint certain points. So it's quite effective.
That's the current position. We're looking to see how we can make it a little bit easier, but for the present time, we felt that it would be better not to show any NRIC.
A better way to compare points is to have one hand out and then the other hand. For example, this and then compared to that. So you got a comparison. You're making your audience follow a comparison rather than saying using one palm, one hand gesture. Doesn't come across as more powerful compared to two hands when you have one this compared to that. What's going to happen when you do this compared to what's going to happen when you do that? Right?
We felt that it would be better not to show any NRIC, whether in full or partial.
So let me take your...
Sorry, relating to the tone, pitch, volume, and pace of voice is comparable to Mrs. Josephine Teo's. So it's almost similar. Her voice naturally is a bit deeper, so people are drawn to a little bit more deeper voices compared to the higher pitch and higher tone. This relates to both men and women as well.
Partial.
So let me take your first question, Geraldine. I think we can all appreciate from this exchange how delicate this...
Another way where you have a question and when you answer the question, it's always good to have your hands out. So you don't have your hands protecting or underneath the table or somewhere where it's hidden. So the moment that your hands are hidden, even though your words might come across as powerful, remember majority of your presentation is by your body language and not by your words. So you can say the most perfect sentence whatsoever, but people will leave the room thinking about the answers, the words, but majority of it will come from your body language and non-verbal gestures and even the tone, pitch, volume, and speed of your voice. So majority comes from that rather than the words that you say. So remember, when you're answering questions, always have your palm out. Even if you're not moving your palms, you don't feel comfortable doing gestures, put your palms on the table or on the desk or in front of you. When you're having interviews, when you're speaking to somebody, or when you're doing a debriefing session, if you're a trainer, you're a coach, you're a teacher, have your hands visible to the other party.
How delicate this set of communications is going to be.
Okay, so the head movements, okay, similar to Miss Indranee Rajah, where it's very slight. So that's good because you're speaking about something very serious, so you don't really move too much or from side to side too much, or show your neck, and you notice that one of the most effective things is when you're speaking, you don't have your hands touching any part of your face. That's one sign of nervousness. Whenever you speak, notice how many times it could be a very subtle touch, maybe after, it could be just less than 1 second, touching your lips or touching your nose or just adjusting your glasses. Signs of nervousness. So you notice both of these women are calm and they did not have any touching or even preening gestures or even just touching the hair or their clothes or adjusting their clothes or even shifting of body weight. So they are both very calm in presenting due to their experience. So I think we'll stop here for this analysis. Any more questions or requests, just drop me an email. Hope you learned something from this as well to use it in your own everyday lives. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.